I loved Pikmin 3 so much, I bought it twice. But is nostalgia clouding my judgment? Today, we're going to look at how Pikmin 3 evolved the series further, and see if it truly deserves the spot of my favorite game of all time. Starting out, Pikmin 3 stars a new cast of characters in the Copiates. When their planet runs out of food, they set out to the Pikmin planet, PNF 404, in search of fruit. And just like Olimar, they crash too. The most obvious upgrade from Pikmin 1 and 2 is the graphics. While those games had more of a hybrid cartoon realism art style, Pikmin 3 goes all in on the realism. Look at how fantastic the fruit looks. They even made avocados look somewhat appetizing. If Pikmin 2 is the Tears of the Kingdom to Pikmin 1's Breath of the Wild, then Pikmin 3 is an entirely new experience. The game looks different and feels even more different. If I had to sum up the Pikmin 3 experience, I would say it feels both more and less free-flowing than the previous two games. The Joy-Con don't really work well with motion controls, so much so that I think my right bumper is going to break from resetting so often. They did add the lock-on feature, which sort of helps, but oftentimes I can't lock on to the exact targets I'd like to. It's especially hard when fighting enemies with multiple targets, like the Hairy Longlegs mini-boss. Just target the right leg! Do I look pissed? I think I look pissed. Yeah. Speaking of locking onto things, this game is much more linear than the previous two games. Each area follows the same structure: land in the area, find a new Pikmin type, fight the boss, go to the next area. And unlike 1 and 2, where the game's structure essentially forced you to 100% the game, 3 allows you to end the campaign at whatever point you want, as long as you've unlocked all the areas. Now, the main cause behind this issue is that our progression isn't tied to fruits we collect, but rather by collecting key items, which is basically how it works in 2, but it's different here. In Pikmin 1, new areas unlock when you've collected a certain amount of ship parts. In 2, you unlock new areas by collecting the 2 globe halves, but your real progression is tied to collecting treasure to complete the deck, and later looting the entire planet in the name of capitalism. In 3, you only need to collect a minimum of 3 fruits to beat the main story. That is if you're speedrunning, of course. You will get the worst ending from this, but the fact that it's that easy is the issue for me. Conversely, like I said about Pikmin 2, the thing I enjoy most about Pikmin 3 is replaying it over and over again, and the low barrier to completion makes it fun in its own way. I've never been able to finish the game in the 7-day minimum, but every time I play I get slightly closer to doing that. My shortest time now is 10 days, but I know eventually I'll get that down to 7. I understand not all gamers want to 100% the game, so I respect the change, but it just feels like a refinement that was half-baked. I've always viewed Pikmin as a collectathon series about exploration, so the subversion of that expectation felt like a strange choice for the game. But speaking of refinements, I believe that was Pikmin 3's mission all along, to take the previous game systems and refine them as much as possible. There was nearly a 10-year gap between the games, so I'm glad things are different. So the Pikmin themselves. First of all, the main 3 types are relatively unchanged. Bomb rocks are back though, and can be held by all Pikmin types, so that's pretty cash money. Gone in this game is the swarm mechanic, which is fine? I missed it in the original Pikmin 3, but Deluxe makes it unnecessary with the changes that they made to it. It's a more intentional version of Swarm that helps with my style of playing. It's nice that it's returning in Pikmin 4 though, for maximum intentionality. Do you want a more freely controlled mechanic, or would you rather have something with more accuracy? It's your choice. The Rock and Wing Pikmin are, while fairly situational, a great addition to the series. I like that Nintendo chose to design new kinds of puzzles around these Pikmin rather than taking the purple and white Pikmin and expanding on their mechanics from Pikmin 2. They'll never be quite as universal as the original 3 colors, but I like that each game has shaken up the formula in that department. It makes each game feel more distinct and can add an extra challenge for veteran players. Now, the story is the standout feature of Pikmin 3. While the first 2 games essentially only had setups and conclusions, Pikmin 3 has a full-fledged narrative. It's a lot closer to a traditional 3-act structure in that way. Each area has its own story beat, which also helps them to feel more memorable. And while I don't love the linearity of them, I can let it go for the sake of a more engaging narrative. Which, sure, you can sum it up in about 3 sentences. Copiates crash their ship and lose their key. Olimar has the key. They find Olimar, but he steals their food. They find Olimar again, but apparently, Olimar was Louie. Louie knows where Olimar is, but he's been kidnapped by the Golden Boogeyman. They escape the Boogeyman, rescue Olimar, save their planet, the end. Okay, that was 6 sentences. Impressive stuff, Nintendo. Impressive. So in the end, how well does Pikmin 3 serve the series? Quite well, honestly. It refined the mechanics and systems so well and brought Pikmin into the modern area of gaming. It doesn't provide the same level of challenge and playtime that the previous 2 games had, but I think that's okay. My favorite part of this game is the speedrunning experience, and while I'll never make the charts, it's some of the most fun I've ever had with the game. No game has kept me playing consistently for 10 years, and I don't know if that'll happen again. Pikmin 3 was truly a once-in-a-lifetime game that really cemented the series as my personal favorite, and I hope Pikmin 4 can capture that same magic. But until Pikmin 4 comes out, why don't you check out 3 if you can? You got like a day. And with that, I'll see you on the other side of this long wait. This is another game 10 years in the making, so let's enjoy this one, shall we?